Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome to the Gemini Full Moon on December 7th of 2022. And welcome to what I have been saying is the Mars shit show for everyone. So much more to come on that. But first of all, hello, I'm Lori Rising. If you're new to my channel, I'm so happy that you have found us. Please hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so that you know when I drop any episode or video in divine time. And if you are a longtime listener, heyo, you know, you got my heart. And I love every soul that is called to participate in and create this supportive community and energy and space that we share, we heal, we transform through. So, like I said, I'm Lori Rising. I'm an intuitive medium, a trauma-informed healing artist, a ritual guide, a spiritual teacher of lifetimes, but most importantly, I am your biggest cheerleader into your majesty and divinity that is your birthright in this body and this physical experience. And what we do in these videos is we chat about some of the intuitive energies that come through my channel around the new and full moons that I'm being guided to really highlight in the collective. And then we do a card read to pull in more of that higher wisdom and guidance through the oracle. So I do hope you stick around to the end because they are very powerful messages. If you'd like to know more about me and my programs, my personal readings and offerings, head on over to therawandwildhearts.com. I have lots of freebies and I have really amazing containers for you to jump in to commit to the intentional practices that will create deep transformation in the light acceleration and evolution that is happening on this planet. And for us as budding galactic citizens. So that being said, let's get to this Gemini full moon. Ooh, have we been in it with this Mars retrograde? It is going to be conjunct the full moon with like it makes me speechless with it being out of bounds as well. So this retrograde, yes, feels like it's been lasting forever because of the wild intensity that comes along with it. And there's a reason. It's intentional. Okay. I have just recently done a talk on Saturn because I feel like, especially any of the long retrograde periods we go through, it really gives us an opportunity to dive deeper into our Saturn, which is our physical mastery in this human experience. And so do check out the short I just put up about that. Let's talk about this Mars conjunct and the shit show that we are all experiencing. We can be experiencing delays, being stood up. I just got no-showed twice in a row, yesterday and today, and I have so many other things to do. So this is giving me an opportunity at reflection and response over reaction. Okay, so as Mars continues to heat up, because Mars is the planet of aggression and anger, and in the long retrograde, you can feel the reactionary habits of anger, explosiveness, patterned communication that you learned pre-language. We learned about communication before we were even speaking. We took it, we absorbed it through our energy. And so what I feel like this long period is offering us an opportunity at is rebirthing the way that we communicate and the inspiration that we draw in our communications through our communications, and really reimagining and reawakening our soul's language and how that expands from us instead of falling in line what was created for us or around us subconsciously and unconsciously. So there's definitely in every opportunity, which really feels like it's all day long, every day. It's like we come back to our center, we go to sleep, we have the death of the day and the rebirth in the morning, and we come back into alignment, and then it just keeps hitting over and over. Are you feeling me on this? So it's giving us a gift in reflection or a pain and solidification in reaction. And I, for one, know that I spent a little time just letting myself go just easily into that reaction because we're habitual people and beings. And when we have created those neural pathways and really dug in to how it was comfortable to be in the discomfort, to be in the stress and the tension. Because the more we do it, the more everyone else does it. The more everyone else does it, the more we do it. It's like we easily tap in to the dominant energy that's all around us. And so being in your intentional response throughout this period is of the utmost importance, because that's how you actually disrupt that programming and those patterns and bring in new life. And I also want to say decay and die them off, right? It's like completely transform them instead of letting them linger. And that's where I feel like in the retrograde period, it can feel like we have almost soul amnesia. It's like all of the acceleration and spiritual work and enlightenment that we've been moving through can feel like it's suddenly gone, right, from our consciousness. And we can feel displaced in our life, almost like displaced back to a previous version of ourselves. There's a reason for this. Okay, so stay with it. It's intentional. The retrogrades want you to be fully in this physical experience to allow the depth of those chords and connections that have been made over and over and over to surface for your choice, your free will. How are you going to work with it as it bubbles to the surface, especially in the Mars energy and Gemini, which is all about communication. It's about inspiration. It's about thinking as well. So how are you going to observe and allow in those spaces? Or how are you going to react? You always get to choose that as well. And we can also choose to dig our heels in and dive deeper into what is offering us the opportunity, because we can solidify anything in these bodies and these cells. Our bodies carry the imprint of all ancient knowledge, all wisdom, all of our light codes and all of our lineages, light and experiences and emotionality as well, and our lifetimes. I mean, it's huge, right? And so as we make these transformations, that's the key. That's the key to the lock. And we get to unlock and reawaken that remembrance and that transcendence of the physical pain and wounds, core wounds that have been accumulated over lifetimes and through lifetimes. So I hope that helps as you've been moving through the Mars retrograde, because I mean, we just, like I said, it's so much. It's delays, it's miscommunications, it's straight up denials, and it's like blowing up any expectations of ease in your path unfolding as opportunities. You know, Saturn is, and I'm bringing Saturn in because Saturn is the physical mastery, right? It's through those core wounds that we actually come to live out the soul's mission that we came here to transform and experience. And so that's why I feel like I'm correlating Saturn with the deep retrograde energies. I mean, we can go back to last January with the Venus and Capricorn retrograde. Ooh, that was at this kind of intensity, but I almost feel like that that was amplified a little bit higher than the Mars retrograde. So if you are forcing right now, if you're forcing and living in the energies that we've been taught of sacrifice, competition, comparison, you know, if you're moving from a place of misalignment, it's going to get really uncomfortable, right? And that can create the spaces that we might be feeling right now of the anxiety, despair, and even doom. Okay. Because if you're looking on the outside and instead of on the inside and trying to make things happen that aren't ready because the energy wants you to go into the transformation of the core wounds that are ready. and our conscious mind might be like, no, we don't want to go there. We need to, keep our offers going. We need to keep interest. We need to keep the business afloat. We need to keep our relationships happening. We need validation. The ego comes in, right? And so this is a perfect time to just get very quiet. When you feel the stress, the tension, the reaction rising in that Mars fashion, which is quick hits, quick energy, quick outbursts, I'm going to invite you to literally physically remove yourself from the interaction, from the experience, even from the intensity of the emotion right then and there, especially if it's coming from a learned ego response. And literally take yourself, I'm going to go one step further and invite you to take yourself outside into nature, even just standing outside and breathing. And then you can go further with your soul practices, breath work, movement, dance, just creating. Mars really wants the body to move. So that's the elixir. And so if you do have the time and space to do that, be open to changing the trajectory of your day in those moments. And what I also want to talk about real quick is how we're actually moving towards all planets direct at the end of January. Okay, so stay with whatever is coming up to die. Okay, when we accept the beauty of death and rebirth, which many of us right now, because of the eclipses and this Mars retrograde, are going through the death of our loved ones, the death of our animal kids, and the death of who we truly thought and believed we were. And that's intense. And I hold your heart in my light. And so the more that we have that perspective and awareness, the more that we can realize that everyone around us is moving through the exact same intensity that we're feeling as well. But our thought minds might only be seeing what's being shared on social media. Always hold that in your truth, in your heart. Okay. So we're going to be moving through this until the end of January. I think it's around January 22nd where the final planet moves direct. Neptune's going to be going direct on December 3rd. And we also just had Jupiter go direct. So right now we have some really expansive Sagittarius energies with Jupiter direct, which is like double the trouble, I want to say, but it's not trouble. It's beautiful expansion, but it can become trouble when you overdo the frenzy that can come with that, the excessiveness that might want to roll out because we want to move deeply away from what we've been feeling. And so I'm going to invite you again right now to stay with the energies of what you're working with in the divine feminine, in the receptivity, in the quiet, in the shadow. Like that is where the death comes in strength. And know that we're going to be moving into much more of that container of masculine energies as we come out and more external as the planets all go direct and we move quantumly into whatever our creation seeds that have been planted want to bloom. We move into the alignment of our soul's mission, of the transformation that we just went through, of the light that's now pouring into our cells that have more space available for them. And so that's when we take the inspired and aligned action in whatever it is that you're moving, that you're opening in your life. Any experiences, know that there will be so many more limitless opportunities coming through from the deep places of alignment, because right now We're very wobbly. We're in very imbalanced energies for a purpose. Keep that in mind. The cosmos want us to dig up the stuff that is not ours, that was never ours, that we took on from our lineage, from our lifetimes, from this experience and collective consciousness around us, from the energy, the patterns, the absorption. Okay? So the last thing I want to say is winter solstice is really the beginning of this deep rebirth. Okay. Jupiter's in Aries at 0 degrees on the winter solstice. So that's where I see it's like the open, the light that's opening for us to really step into the reawakening, the rebirth of whatever we have been navigating in the death, in the retrogrades. And I also want to say that I have a free event for the winter solstice for this reason, so that we can deeply remember and reactivate those truths, the ancient knowledge within ourselves. So if you're interested in what happens in my membership community twice a month with some bonuses, bonus talks, then come to my free event. We would love to have you there and feel the power that is created in these containers, because it moves my spirit and soul every single time. So make sure to find that in the link below. You can also find it on my website. And if anything else, if you can't find something you're looking for, hit me up. I am here for support. So that is going to be amazing. And just to finish off this talk real quick, we are going to be moving into some huge energies of 2023. So we really do want to allow ourselves to get in a place of alignment from the excavation. We don't want to bypass, right? And so whatever that means to you, finding the mentor, following the person online, finding the YouTube videos, right? That speak to your soul and support you in ways that you feel seen, you feel heard, you feel connected, no matter how deep it goes in the throes of the literal and figurative and energetic death of what needs to happen for your brightest light to shine. Make that your number one intention every single day. So I think that was it for the energies. And I hope that these messages have been super supportive for you. Let's do a card read and see what our guides have to say with where we're going. Oh, yes, that's what I was saying. In March, we get out of the post-retrograde shadow of Mars in March. Don't worry, it's going direct on January 12th, but we are in the post-retrograde shadow until March. And also in March is Saturn moving into Pisces and Pluto moving into Aquarius. Y'all, what? Like, I'm just like, March? We're laying the foundation for you right now. Okay, so the first card, of course, is anxiety. And like I said, that's the result of what retrogrades can take us into. When I want to say, like, our top energy is trying to stay with the pulse of what we're plugged into. When we are in that push-pull and continuing in that fractured masculine energy of pushing forward, creating the offers, doing the launches, going out, maybe when, our bodies are craving going in and internal. This can look so many ways, are pushing us to follow through on the plans. This is definitely the energy and the physicality that comes up. So if you're feeling in these places of anxiety, I want to give you this mantra that I actually wrote on Instagram, and it's about surrendering and not quitting. Okay. Because we can have a fear that if we, if we, it's like if we power down and let ourselves go quiet, go dark, and just be with with the ebb that's moving through, we can be afraid that we're going to miss the boat, or we're going to lose the momentum, or the money's not going to come, or someone's going to get interested in someone else if we're not there making ourselves known and our presence there. These are just a few examples. So I want you to say this mantra with me, or repeat it after I do. I surrender. I do not quit. I believe in my mission and vision. I flow with the cosmic tides for greater ease. I rest in trust and listen in curiosity. I invite the death for the limitless rebirth on the horizon. How did that feel? Do you feel yourself relax and let yourself be held in that energy and vibration? That's our guiding light through the dark, is actually surrendering, and knowing that surrendering to what is and what's asking and being invited is not quitting. It's actually going to take us into greater paths when we're in alignment, bigger aligned action and inspiration. Yeah. Okay. The next card is Angel of Love. So right now, give yourself and everyone around you the deepest well of love and compassion that you have. Transcend the ego response and remember that everyone is feeling the intensity of these energies, and especially if they're moving through the energies unconsciously, that's going to unleash the reaction, the anger, the quick fight and warrior tongue because we're in Gemini, and it's really it can be that snarky and sarcastic tongue. So let yourself drop into your space of love, even for when people, don't show, or they maybe don't even have the capacity to show or to let you know, and drop into the trust and surrender that all is unfolding as is meant to, and has higher purposes that your logical mind may not be open to or looking for right now. So hold that space of crystalline light in your heart every night when you go to bed. Feel your heart and feel that light moving around whatever situation and interaction and energy came up in that Mars fashion through the day. Okay. And then the last card is a reverse of attachment. And so this is, whenever I get a reverse card, I view it as a very personal energy. And so it's not about the attachment to the external world. This is about where you're going to get liberated from the attachments that you have been holding on to that have not been yours. You've been holding on to them in spaces of judgment and obligation, and maybe not even consciously, unconsciously. And so when you feel the severing of those cords, of those attachments that have been keeping you dim and limiting you in your life and your creator energy, you're going to feel the liberation as all planets move forward and move direct. You're going to feel the expansion of the cells and light that has been waiting to be released, that has been underneath those attachments that have accumulated through this, especially through this experience, but have been coming in from past experiences and lives and lineages. So I just want to show this a little bit deeper, where you see it is one soul, one being holding their light. And this is what comes through your deep sovereign work and intention. And even excitement for the throes of what we're moving through, the shit show of what we're moving through, knowing deep in your cells, your bones, and your trust that there will be an expansion on the other side. There will be new growth. There will be experiences that you've never even logically thought of or let yourself feel into in that space of trust. But if you stay in only what you've known, that's going to keep you in a longer loop of the liberation, because it's the trust that is our superpower. It's the vulnerability, and it's the releasing of the emotions around the hold and imprint that we have been carrying for far too long. So I think this was a longer video. And again, I hope and trust that you have received at least one message that gave you that aha, that gave you that virtual hug, that gave you the enlightenment to deepen your experience even just a little bit more at this time. So I'm sending you all so much love. I hope to see you in some of my containers and programs. And I definitely plan to see you here for the next video drop. And until then, don't forget to keep looking up.